Weapon of the silence.
That's your silence right there. That's your silence. You're going to be very appreciative we left that bit in there for you, buddy.
Very, very happy about that.
This week, 2 days ago, a gold ATM was revealed at the Barclays Bank in Enfield, London. British comedian Reg Varney was the first person to withdraw cash from this machine. This is not the reason why the ATM machine is gold, however. But instead, it is gold to memorize 50 years of being recognized as the world's first ATM. And that withdrawal happened on June 27th, 1967. This is episode 67 of PHP Ugly.
My.
How you doing, gentlemen?
That was a stretch if I've ever heard a stretch.
Let me give this one a shot.
Worst case scenario, I always fall back on a year. Years are easy. I can do years all day long. I try to be a little bit more creative, but yeah, I can always fall back on a year. So you know that's coming.
You know what the element with atomic number 67 is?
His daughter tried that one. He charged her with finding something to do with 67, and she came up with that one.
Elementary, dear homium. Elementary.
The Wikipedia approach doesn't work anymore. My addiction has grown. I need something more. If you can find it on the Wikipedia page, then it's not good enough. I need something deeper.
Just makes me want to judo throw you.
So it goes with a gold ATM machine.
Gold ATM, 50 years ago, 2 days ago. I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances it happened on the same week as our 67th podcast? What are the chances? I ask you.
1 in 52.
No, because then you got to do the year thing.
The third power.
The year thing, Thomas. There was a whole intersection there.
You found an arbitrary event. If the event weren't arbitrary, then yes.
Listen, Mr. Doom and Gloom,
if the ATM were in honor of us.
You have your little section of the podcast. I have mine. Okay. If you're going to keep riding my ass about this, I'm not going to give you your doom and gloom.
Tom, I'm on your side on this one.
Way too much doom and gloom this week. What are you doing to me?
I am not doing any of this. This is a nightmare brought on by our political system.
No,
Are you jumping right into the news already? Oh my god!
He's asking why. He's asking why.
No, we're not.
How's your weekend?
But I do. Hold on. Before we do that, I do want to mention the one. I want to mention the one thing that I put on here that I thought was really great, had really huge benefits for people, and I wanted to get it out really early in the show here. Hold
on, wait. I need to drink my scotch.
I'm gonna cut this thing up like a Michael Bay movie.
Oh my goodness! I cannot believe you just went there.
Had a scotch.
Tom, you want to save that for later.
You were talking, Thomas.
Save it for later.
There's a community member at Laracon this year who will be holding Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, which I think is super great. These events are well known for being debaucherous. I
personally do not encourage Alcohol Anonymous. I prefer to know the alcohol I'm drinking, and I refuse to drink it anonymously. I have
my goodness. How disrespectful.
Am I disrespecting? I'm sorry. This is a serious.
It's absolutely not true. He'll drink anything you put in front of him.
Yes,
that's true.
Yes, it's funny because I'm pretty sure we can go back through the shows, and one of the very early shows, I brought up if we felt like there was a concern around the reputation we have with alcohol in user groups and conferences. And if I recall correctly, I was poo-hooed, like, what are you talking about? That's so stupid. But apparently, I wasn't so far off base now, was I, mister?
I think anyone that engages in recreational drug use should be aware of the problems that it can cause and be given the tools to help resolve those problems. I don't personally engage with Alcoholics Anonymous at all, but I can definitely appreciate the need for such a thing in an environment that really promotes drinking quite a bit. So I'm really excited to see this.
You know, I honestly. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say I can appreciate Alcoholics Anonymous to a point. I mean, I think there needs to be something. My big issue with it is so religious based.
Yeah,
a place I used to work.
Yeah,
a place I used to work.
Fan of that.
They hosted AA meetings after hours, and just there were always the 12 steps up on the wall, and they're all like they're basically pushing you into religion and saying religion will cure you or solve your issues. And if it does, great, but there's got to be something else as well.
There are non-denominational forms of Alcoholics Anonymous that I promote much more, but I do understand. I
take exception to what you said, Thomas, because honestly, in what I've seen in the PHP community, in the conferences I've been to, in the meetups I run and I've been to, that yeah, sure, alcohol is present, alcohol is quite frequently free, but there's not this big push to go drinking. Yeah, I do understand.
No, I when you're an alcoholic, it can feel like you're being pushed.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't.
If you're an alcoholic and someone's handing out free beer,
I think the opportunity is there. That the temptation is definitely there. You know, to have free drinks and being surrounded by people who drink. I couldn't even imagine what that challenge is like. So I do think that, but I don't think that. I've been to conferences in other industries where there is a heavy push to get hammered. And I definitely don't feel that in the PHP community. I'm just that's all I'm stating is I don't think there's a pressure in general to go out and get drunk. But I do see the challenge, especially with people who are struggling with it, as far as the availability.
It's a central theme, especially at like conferences like Tech, where every night there's either a sponsored event or a group of people going out to a bar. So I've heard it from people, again, going to Tech about that concern or feeling out of place because it's so prevalent.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could imagine that John's trip with his family in town was very different than John's trip without his family with him.
Nah. Yes, of course it was different.
I just mean, we did Laracon a couple years ago, and everything we did focused around meeting up together at somewhere that served alcohol.
Yeah.
Correct. I wasn't there, but I'm going to say you were correct just to break the silence.
I mean, I got invited to places that didn't have alcohol, but I said, well, they don't have alcohol there, so I'll see you at the bar in the hotel.
It's like, what are you going there for? There's no alcohol.
All right. So back to what we did this week.
All right. So funny story. Hold on. I'm cutting in because since I did go ahead and offend everybody with my little joke about drinking scotch before we talk about the Alcohol Anonymous piece. And Larachat Live. Did anybody listen to Larachat Live?
I missed out on that one today.
So
I was working while it was going on.
This was
every other week, and you recorded last week.
This was last week. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
I heard 5 minutes.
We talked about it last week as well. It was about open source mental illness, right? That whole initiative, and we talked to Joe Ferguson. So we're talking about the challenges of people struggling with mental illness and development and life in general, and what you could do. And it's a pretty deep conversation. It touches on a lot of inner nerves and emotions and all that. So we get to the end of the show, and we've been doing this hashtag giveaway where if you retweet our hashtag, you have a chance to get this 1 year of GitHub personal account for free. So you can have private repos and all. You don't have to pay for it. So we get to the hashtag. I'm like, yeah, great show. La da da. Thanks for coming on, Joe. Sean, what's the hashtag? And he's like, oh yeah, I think it's Laravel Meltdown. Really, Laravel Meltdown. That's going to be our hashtag for our open source and mental illness show.
Why was that the hashtag?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, it was decided a month or two ago when they were queuing them up, and I'm not sure why the meltdown hashtag was. I don't know. I didn't connect the dots, and I was afraid to ask.
Okay, so just so we're clear, Laravel Meltdown isn't pointing fingers at anybody at all.
No, it was decided before Joe was even asked to be on the show. It definitely does not reference any of that. I'm not sure.
A funny coincidence.
Yeah, it's just one of those kooky coincidences. And Sean being Canadian, he's like, oh yeah, it's Laravel Meltdown. I'm like, oh no, Sean, that can't be it. Please don't let that be
it. Too late. It's live. You forgot about that.
We did have some meltdowns in the community this week, though, huh? Did you guys follow any of that?
Oh man, John, what'd you do this week?
I want to hear about these meltdowns because no, I don't recall seeing anything.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't follow things as closely as I could because I'm usually working.
Yeah, I would rather not get into it.
Yeah, I don't know.
What? Mr. Doom and Gloom doesn't want to get into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What?
Some major bridge burning still going on among people that I respect and hope someday respect me. And so I simply do not want to engage in that conversation publicly whatsoever.
Wow, what show am I on?
A smart
this is supposed to be ugly.
I'm at the point in my career where I could say something dumb and not get a job 10 years from now because of it.
Thomas, I've already said it like 4 or 5 things dumb, and we're not even halfway into the show yet. Come on.
Yeah, but you own your own company. I don't have that yet.
There's a lot of it. What it ended up kind of bubbling up to, Taylor does release a blog post on Medium called Community Hoops.
Oh, I did read that. Okay.
Did you read that? Yeah. So that was kind of the follow up. A lot of the stuff that happened prior, and I wasn't keeping enough details of all the players and what was being said by who. I've gotten so to the point where I've thrown my hands up in the air and I'm like, I still don't care about this stuff anymore. It's just
you don't care about it anymore. But
talking to elite people.
Yeah, but when you think back to especially the early days of Laravel, I can't imagine trying to maintain an open source framework like he's got going on, and just have the community pounding you constantly about how crappy it is.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of old wounds, a lot of new wounds, and very big name people in the PHP community blocking each other on Twitter.
I didn't know it got that bad.
It got real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Taylor's just sharing some of his thoughts of the past.
So what'd you do this week?
Hey, John, what did you do this week?
It's not official till Eric says
it. I'm going to stay on this topic. Now, we actually, I think we might have hired a new developer. So excited about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry, there'll be a pink slip in your box.
I was going to say, this is news to the CTO.
No, so that's exciting. Great conversations with some new potential clients.
We're hoping this one doesn't back out on us like certain other ones have. Yeah, they looked us up. They seen who we are. They're like, oh yeah, no, I'm a little busy. Can't work for you right now.
He's referencing somebody we actually extended an offer last week to, and she doesn't like us.
We were very hopeful.
I think Eric was stalking her.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
This show is never gonna make it to broadcast. This is just gonna be a show for us.
It's getting uglier and uglier. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we did. We had a meeting with a new potential client that I'm kind of excited about. It could be a pretty fun project to work on. That should be fun. I did a meetup. Yeah. You missed another Laravel meetup, Tom. I'm really getting disappointed. I think that's like 4 or 5 you've missed now.
Yeah,
and he's RSVP to all of them. I think.
I know you're in all of them.
No, I think I got removed as a meetup member.
No,
make room for new people.
I still get the email that says, "Hey, yes, talk about how happy you were to see him." I'm like, but I didn't see him.
I'm sad I didn't see him.
You can still talk about how happy you were to see me.
Eric did an amazing job. The presentation was really good, especially considering he started his slides like an hour before. It's amazing. It's amazing what happens when you copy and paste from the internet.
The Laravel models, was that it?
Laravel models, yeah. It was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'll put this together in about a day, and Saturday rolls around. It's like, I'll do it tomorrow. Sunday rolls around. I'm like, I probably have a few. I'm probably good. I'll do it Monday.
You're stealing my editing technique.
Tuesday, he's like, oh my gosh, I got to do slides tomorrow. But he did an awesome job, and it spurred on some great conversations. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, it was. The group was getting smaller and smaller. We're gonna have to address that at some point and make a decision on if we want to absorb it back into STPHP or let it continue to be its own thing. But I mean, there's enough of an interest and there's enough of a topic that I like having the focus, but it's just our vendors kind of changing their setup a little bit, and so we don't get all the free stuff we were getting before, and the attendance is dropping a little bit, so it's
more of that than the other.
Split it up into 2 tracks.
You
could split it up into 2 tracks.
Well, that's what it was, 2 tracks, but I can't get enough presenters. I can't
simultaneously, same location.
I'm so confused.
What are you talking about? Are you leading into something? Am I missing something?
No. Well, yes, but no. No, you just have a second projector in the same room on the opposite end, and then you can do 2 meetups at the same time and claim. And
then I put my little 360 camera in the middle, and whoever's watching the stream, they can just flip back and forth to whichever presentation they want to watch.
Exactly. We're reinventing what it is to be a meetive.
Are you guys getting tired of my 360 videos yet?
No, I blocked you.
It's fun.
I hate you with a passion. I really do.
I know.
Yeah. I am so addicted to this 360 streaming right now. It's ridiculous. You should if you haven't watched the latest one of the pinball machine where Frank, John, and myself are playing a Batman pinball machine. That's my favorite one. So I did that one with the VR goggles on today, and it was awesome. It was so much fun to watch it. So
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Hey, John, were you still co-working with us when I got the phone call about the down wire?
Yeah. So what was it?
It was, I don't know what it is. So let me give the listeners and Thomas a little background here. We're co-working this morning, and we've got a few things going on. We have meetings with clients and a couple of other issues that had come up that we're trying to address all simultaneously. And I get a message from my wife saying, "Yeah, the garbage truck man just came knocking on our door, and he said he a cable line, and to call Cox and have him come back and put it back up." I'm like, what is she talking about? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Now,
Okay, first of all, he said cable line and phone line, and I was curious why he still had a phone.
well, no, she was messaging me, and she was still on the internet when she was messaging me, right? So, did she call me or was she messaging me?
She messaged you, but you said you told us that she said he knocked down the cable and phone lines, and I was like, you have a phone line to your house?
Yeah, that's true. You did.
Like, why do you still have a phone?
And that's still actually might have been the line that got knocked down. We just don't know it. So I'm like, she wasn't making like a lot of sense, but our neighborhood is still one of the older neighborhoods in the area, and we have the power lines and everything that run over top. So it's not underground like modern neighborhoods are. And apparently the garbage truck came down our street, which it does every week. And I guess this one, there was something different, or the situation was different, took out some line that was attached to our house and just ripped it right off the house. And I come home, and sure enough, it's wound up in a little ball across the street. I'm like, I wonder if that really came off my house. And I'm counting everybody else's houses, and everybody's got 2 wires running to their house, and I have 1 wire running to mine. And I'm like, well, damn it.
He just took out the ground wire, so your house isn't grounded properly anymore.
Oh God, that would be hysterical. That would be fun. So yeah, I don't know what he disconnected. I mean, obviously, internet's still working. We do technically have a landline, but we don't have any phones to plug into it, so we don't know. Maybe that's what he disconnected. I don't know. I don't know what's disconnected.
You can look at the actual cable ends and see what kind of phone or what kind of cable it is.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, I mean,
not at all.
I don't know who to
what
believe.
are you talking about, Thomas?
I mean, no.
John, how do you look at the cable lines and tell?
If he ripped it off, just look and see. Are there multiple wires? Is it a single cable? Like,
I'm afraid to go. It's just sitting over there sparking, man. I don't know. It's just sparking.
Well, do you have TV? Does your TV still work?
I have Dish, so yeah, it works.
Yeah, so it's your phone line.
Yeah. So that was fun. That was fun.
You didn't announce to the IRC channel that we're streaming. Oh yeah, you did.
What? Yeah,
go on.
What happened to the?
Sorry, what were you going to say, John?
I was going to ask you, Thomas, what you had going on this week.
This is the week that my kids left for San Diego. So
yeah, they were over my house.
You said this is when they left for San Diego. Like, you haven't actually confirmed if they arrived or anything. Like, I don't actually.
My wife
did
that.
Care.
No, my
wife walked out the house. They haven't come back.
Yeah, so it's been really quiet, and I've got an amazing amount of work done. It's surprising how much more efficient I am when children aren't screaming.
Wait, did you get more work done or more games played?
Far more work done. Yeah, it's been pretty nice. Next week I have the whole week off, so we're gonna catch movies and meet people.
Oh, you finally used some of your vacation time, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I decided that when the kids were gone, it was a good time to take a family vacation.
Dad of the year right there, buddy. Dad of the year. Oh, man, kids are out of town. I'm taking some time off. Shoot.
They're with their dad. They're with their biological dad. I can't compete for Dad of the Year while they're with
What are you going to do when they come back home and they have a vacation from school and they're like, let's go somewhere, and you're like, I can't, I already used my vacation time.
I still have 134 hours.
Oh, man. I don't know what I'm do with you.
No, I still have plenty of vacation time. I'll take some vacation when they're back in school. What have you been up to, Eric?
I told you my week already, man. We're not going back into that.
All
You
right.
know what I'm excited about?
Is it Laracon?
Laracon. We're in the countdown to Laracon. Very excited about that.
There's lots of news coming out of Laracon too.
Yeah, as you know, Laracon has been sold out for months. So they just announced that you can buy a streaming package. I think it was like $35 or something. You can watch the stream of the conference, which just seems pretty reasonable.
35. That
Yeah.
seems well.
Tell you what, today only $29.99.
Is it?
Yeah, and also not just today. That's the official price is $29.99.
Okay, so it's a little cheaper than 35. It's under $35.
Yeah, and they just tweeted out too that they were releasing 4 tickets for sale that had been returned or made available, 4 last-minute tickets.
See, we were talking about this last night at the meetup or after the meetup. That supposedly there's a wait list of 1,000 people, but they keep tweeting out tickets are available. I'm like, how does that work? If there's a wait list, I expect to be like given first chance of refusal there. So there is no wait list.
Well, we've been talking about this since they announced the location because we knew immediately that it wasn't going to be a big enough location. And Taylor has started saying, we're probably going to have to look for a different venue next year or even go multi-track next year. Because
the multi-track comment got a lot of pushback. I mean, a lot of people like, and I'm among them. A lot of people like the single track conference a lot. So a lot of people stepped up and said, I'm not really I mean, they would still go, but they're kind of feeling like they'd rather not have a multi-track. A new location people are open to. I heard a lot of people mention San Diego. There's a new push.
I heard one
started a hashtag.
Firing up the old hashtag again. So yeah, that's happening. San Diego Laracon 2018.
So I didn't include the year. We didn't talk about that part.
Yeah.
No. And there will be full marijuana legalization by then in California as well.
Well, there's another reason, right?
I mean, just saying.
It's already legal.
If that's
you'll just be able to buy it.
Well, you might be able to
possess it. You can possess it now. Yeah.
And you can smoke it too.
Yep. You can grow it. You can grow it right now.
And when your kids aren't home, you can leave it on your coffee table at night. Sorry. A little sidetrack there. Yeah, so Laracon San Diego 2018.
I think it's going to happen. I'm pushing a little harder this year. I'm actually getting more involved in the effort.
We'll see if
last time you
States
tried to get further away. What
was that, Jim?
Yeah, last time you got to move from Kentucky to New York.
Last time you pushed, it got further away. I'm gonna push harder this year. Why is it in England?
Yeah, next year. No, we're just doing Laracon EU this year, folks. I'm sorry, we're not. We won't even go into North America.
Just tell Taylor that you're moving out to New York, so that next year it's going to be easier for you to attend. Oh yeah, San Diego sounds great. San Diego's the next big tech industry hub.
That's it. If I left the country, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, let's go to San Diego." He would probably move to San Diego at that point.
Fun.
All right, that was fun. We're gonna start talking about some news.
Fine. What?
No,
your thing. No, your thing.
No. My thing isn't a thing. I actually have something to say about a couple of these stories, so start wherever you want to start.
What do you guys know about Ethereum?
That I own some.
Eric?
Apparently, Apparently, we own some. Yeah. John is my
you're not
financial.
married anymore, right?
No. You don't understand. We're business married. So yeah.
Bound by the blockchain.
Ethereum, it sounds fascinating. So it's kind of like Bitcoin, but you can actually put programs into the blockchain that get executed on people's machines to determine if a transaction can happen. And I guess there's
Wait a minute. We invested in this? What the hell, John?
So
doesn't it sound amazing?
Here's the thing: is that I got interested in Ethereum after reading about the world's largest heist of digital money, which was Ethereum. Is $250 million of Ethereum, and
that was one person's account, or they heisted that from multiple accounts?
They heisted that from a thing called a DAO. So this is the thing: is this article? This is a Bloomberg article. This is not a BuzzFeed article. So it took me a straight up half an hour to read. It is really, really, really long. And it tries to detail out sort of how this kind of thing works. For the life of me, this is way over my comprehension level. Way over. The blockchain stuff, I understand cryptographic signatures and chain tracking and management. What Ethereum adds to that is, I don't know, an amazing level of complexity, another level of security, and just really an unbelievable level of control over the blockchain. So I guess one of the early developers / investors had created a pool fund for marketing Ether. The intention was to use the money in the fund to promote Ether trading or Ethereum trading, block analysis, tons of just work. And he expected it to get maybe $5 million max, but it ended up getting $250 million in it. And someone found an exploit
That's like an Office Space thing, right? Where you forgot to put the period in the right spot.
Well, it turns out that there was. It turns out that there was like one line of bad code that could be exploited to drain the entire account, and nothing could be done about it. And what the story becomes is literally a Hollywood movie. The players in the event are all nerds by varying degrees, so it's not a great Hollywood movie. But once the script gets punched up, I mean, this is going to be a movie, guaranteed. Everyone involved knows it because of what happened. And
so what the hell happened?
Somebody, they think it might have been a group of people in Sweden, stole $250 million worth of Ethereum. The Ethereum group that maintains these blockchain servers and things like that said, hey, that's bad. It was a community fund, so it was the worst. And
they hit the reset button.
They did. They altered the blockchain, and then they had a big day where all of the people running blockchain servers switched over to a new version that had the altered blockchain where this transaction never occurred. But some of the people in the Bitcoin community called bullshit. And we'll get into why, but they basically said, we run Ethereum servers too, you're hurting our currency's value by forking it this way. So we're going to maintain Ethereum Classic, and you guys are new Ethereum. And so now both blockchains are active and running, and they are separated by a single transaction or a single event. It was actually lots of transactions. They're separated by this single event that was either erased from history or not erased from history, and your moral stance on basically correcting theft. It's amazing.
So,
because
couple things I want to talk about here, and I know, Thomas, you can ramble on about this for another 45 minutes because that's the talent that you have. But I want to kind of get into the meats of this here.
I want to say thank you.
This article alone, which we will be linking to in the show notes, what's with this code? Like, there's code in the article. Did you notice this?
It is the shittiest website I've ever had to read something on. Move your cursor to the left or right side of the screen.
That's what I'm referring to. If I move it to the left, I see like this code. Is this the code that was exploited, or what is this?
No, it is not.
Oh, what am I looking at?
It might have been code to execute. This looks like a sample DAO contract, or it might be some exploit code. They don't explain it in the article. But I know that it's not because it has line numbers on it, and the line number where the exploit was 666.
Oh, seriously? Serious? And
Straight
that
up.
just happened to have really?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, line 666 was the place where the transaction paid out the rewards to contributors, which was incorrectly decrementing.
Do these posts to the right relate to the story as well? I mean, I see the reference DOA, but it's like I don't understand if I'm supposed to be looking at these or not.
Good question.
Security, do not panic. Oh yeah, it does look like they're related to the story. Yeah,
but they're not. It's incredibly bad design for the website. I don't know why they're doing it.
I see that this is somebody trying to be way too clever with design and user interface, user experience, because this is just too much. It's not a fan. But I do want to talk a little bit more about the blockchain technology. What are your opinions on that? Like, do you think that's a real field for the general developer to be interested in? And I will prefix that with, I am extremely interested in it. We actually have a client who is extremely interested in it, and I think that client has a very good use case for blockchain, and we're kind of working through not but actually, and you would appreciate this, right? It's evidence collection. So the idea would be that once evidence is collected and the document is established, that blockchain now validates that document. So that document cannot be altered anymore without triggering some sort of notification saying, hey, this is not the original document of evidence that was initially established.
Unless you store your evidence in a quantum superposition.
Okay, listen, stop trying to break this, okay? I'm trying to ask you a very simple theoretical question on how you feel about this technology. I mean, so the idea of being able to lock down and validate the existence of an object in virtual space. I mean, do you think this is something that developers should be working on, like spending their time trying to develop?
I think if you are interested in this, then do the research, do the work. I'm starting to get into it. I've got my mining set up, ready to go after this. The best application hasn't been found yet. So it is a currency seeking a market. Now in America, we made a market.
Well,
We
I'm
made-
talking about I'm talking about blockchain technology, though. Now, I'm not talking about Bitcoin or
Not
Ether
currency.
or any of that. Yeah, I'm just talking about the idea of blockchain, because I've heard it reference, like, the medical field could use it to transfer documents from one healthcare provider to another. And like I said, we have a client that's interested in it for evidence. Blockchain in general, do you feel is a good technology? Because to me it seems fascinating.
It is. It's a fantastic technology. It has its problems. One of the problems is actually exampled in this article, where the transactions came from a blockchain sieve that converted one currency into another. So you can see, early internet type behaviors coming out of this blockchain universe. Because it really is like an internet within the internet. It really exists independently and can only be analyzed from a specific position. Are you playing different cassettes, John?
Yes.
Am I being tapped?
I'm trying to
Doing-
adjust my
Oh,
chair.
I had a stinking. See, I did it again. I didn't play my sound clip for my intro. I had a whole money sound clip.
It's almost as if they're
My-
not worth it at all.
My buddy even helped me figure out what to put in there.
Friend of the show, Frank Wallen.
Friend of
Oh
the
my
show,
goodness.
Frank Wallen. Yes. Now,
Yeah, the blockchain.
My concern. I was
Blockchain
gonna say,
is
my concern with
important.
John, your opinions. Go.
Nope. I want to hear Tom first.
Oh my God. Are you Canadian?
Okay, my issue with the blockchain is for what you're talking about. The blockchain currently works with, as far as Bitcoin, is because you can mine it, right? And that's what makes it work. I want to see what happens when we get to the end where you get nothing for mining.
Actually, the blockchain is just tracking transactional values of a mined value. So the mining is separate from the blockchain.
Yeah, but doesn't the blockchain?
The mining is what makes the blockchain work.
Other way around.
But yeah,
What do you mean the other way around?
The blockchain establishes ownership of the mined value.
And the only way to get
Regard-
added, the only way to get added to the blockchain is by the mining.
Right, but that's because the blockchain only accepts newly added mined values.
Right.
Blockchain is just the chain of evidence. The evidence itself is the mined value.
But I guess the question we're asking, and this is where I continue to get lost, is the reason the blockchain, the reason there's this agreed upon understanding of the blockchain, in that in the case of Bitcoin, a transaction is valid, is because those blockchains are distributed across multiple systems that are now mining for Bitcoin. In the case like we're talking about, where people are trying to leverage it for other technologies, and I think this is the point that John's getting to, is how do you create that distributed blockchain environment if there's no benefit, no payoff for the end user, except to be able to say, yeah, that document is really a lease to a house because I'm a good person and I will validate that for you.
So you have an authority which knows the evidence values. In the case of an SQL entry, it's incrementing automatically. So it'd be really simple to say, this is evidence item 1. I am creator of evidence item 1, so I am the first position on the blockchain, and then from now on, that collection of servers acts as the authority to the current location and value or probability of transaction between two people. So you have your wallet ID, you have the value of the package or evidence, and then you have the blockchain, which is the distributed value amongst servers of the transaction history for that specific package of evidence. In Bitcoin, it works very creatively to encode the Bitcoin into the blockchain, but that's not in any way necessary. The blockchain is just private keys, signing private keys, and publicizing your signature, and then having it authorized by a collection of, I think in Bitcoin, it's 20% of servers agree with you. So if 20% of servers agree, then they'll reissue the transaction to each other, and that transaction will propagate across the rest of the network. So the blockchain itself isn't valuable. It's just a means of tracking possession and validity of the package in the end. So
right, that's the exact question we have, though.
Yeah, and that's something that people have tinkered with by creating blockcoin or Bitcoin coins or Bitcoin scratcher cards. I'm not sure if you ever saw this, but there was a company that was selling 1 Bitcoin as a card with a scratchable back that gave you the current position of the block so that you could type it into your computer and get the Bitcoin back. So it's a great technology looking for a great application. Tracking evidence would be a really great application. Military would have a ton of uses for tracking authorization or dissemination of commands.
I still struggle with military aside, because I can see how that works. I still struggle how a commercial entity, let's say company A, who wants to do this evidence collection blockchaining approach, how that company would convince enough minion servers to validate the blockchain and to become part of the blockchain for their service if there's no value to those minions for doing that. Like how is that?
So the reason that Bitcoin succeeds in doing that is because it's a distributed currency in its nature. So telling people, hey, if you want to get your money, run this application. If you want to be part of the community, run this application instead. We'll promise to keep sizes down, which it turns out they can't do, and now it's hundreds of terabytes in the blockchain. But the incentivization in this case would be, I'm providing a service, there's only one authoritative server, and we back it up nightly on a fireproof safe, tape automation.
Well, that's my point. It's not, they don't want an authoritative server. They want it to be distributed just like Bitcoin is.
Yeah,
right.
Too bad.
And what's the benefit of having it be blockchain at that point, right? Because I mean, the other approach, like the interim approach that we're working on right now, is using a solution that puts a version on the record, a revision number.
You just sold Ethereum Classic. That is the issue with Ethereum Classic versus new Ethereum. So these currency systems, they are founded on trust. So when a blockchain can be edited to remove a transaction, to take money away from somebody, the only way you can trust the currency is that tracking of the blockchains is done by multiple independent sources. That is what establishes the trust. And the people who are continuing to use Ethereum Classic in the face of a $250 million loss are basically saying, if the community gets together to edit the blockchain, they are actively destroying the trust in what a blockchain means. So they're arguing that the new Ether, the new Ethereum, is actually damaging faith in Bitcoin because it implies that Bitcoin could do the same thing, and that people's morals are being applied to something that is supposed to be morally abject. It's supposed to be, for everyone, judgment aside, secure transactions. So multiple servers equals trust. Multiple independent agencies running a server is exclusively to establish trust and then redundancy. In the case of an evidence system that they're trying to sell to a police station, that level of trust is inherent in them selling.
Okay.
So
More
they'll
to
have
think
to say,
about.
they'll have to say, if they're going to track evidence or medical records, they'll have to say, here's how secure our blockchain server is. Here's the Mission Impossible type situation that would have to occur to falsify evidence.
So what you said you're going to start mining. Why'd you decide to start? Because from everything I've read, getting into it now, you basically will use more electricity. You'll pay more in electricity than you will ever get mining a Bitcoin.
I'm going to mine Ethereum, which is still in
okay.
the, it's still in the maybe not area. I want to get into it because I'm curious about the DAOs and how they work and how they're applicable to things like evidence, tracking and medical records. I want to get into it to see what it is. If I start mining it, that gives me the opportunity to investigate how mining it pays off, how transactions are handled. So it's self-motivation.
Yeah, so from my understanding of Ethereum, the whole idea is you write these programs and then you give it gas, which is money. And as your computer is executing this program, you're basically sipping that gas. You're getting a little bit of that fee to run that program on your machine. And once that contract is out of gas, it doesn't get run anymore. So
right, that's if you're paying into
out there. Okay. Which we still haven't defined a DAO.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that I know that a DAO is an executable of some type that when it finishes executing, it pays out. And beyond that, I don't understand. This is a new form of market. I mean, this is literally a program that you can tell people, hey, run this on your computer for a while, and it will pay you money for every CPU cycle you can milk out of your system. That's a new thing. And you say the money is in the application that's running. So it's like it's paying out like putting your money in a coin changer. So it's taking this concept of mining and saying, yeah, we used to mine for new Bitcoin addresses, but now you can write a program that mines for anything you want and pays out at a rate of X, and you can give it to anyone who wants to download it, and it'll pay out into their wallet. It's crowdfunding execution of large algorithms, and it's paying the users to do it in a way that is so transparent, automated, that it's a crazy new world where an executable that I download today is worth less than the exact same executable that I downloaded 2 days ago, because it's been giving money out to people who've been running it. That's insane to me.
Is that the mining you're talking about doing? You're going to start running these random applications, or?
No, I'm going to mine for Ethereum blocks, which is the coin format of these DAOs. So you have to get a token. You have to get an Ethereum token to put into a DAO, and then you send the DAO out to people, and they execute it, and it pays them out that token based on your algorithm. So it doesn't have to be mining. It can be take a picture of a dog, and I have an algorithm that verifies that that's a dog. And then when I verify that that's a dog, it pays out the Ethereum coin. So whoever gets me the picture of the dog first gets the coin. It could be anything. It's money tied to binary. There's no limit.
Well, there is a limit to the time we have on the show. So if we want to get to some other topics here, we should probably move on.
Bitcoin.
Killing me, Smalls. Let's talk about Talk about your Girl Scouts. Whose Girl Scout story is this? This looks good.
That's
I
my
think all the
story.
stories are Thomas's.
They are all mine.
All right. Talk about your Girl Scout story.
The Girl Scouts are now going to be issuing a badge for cybersecurity.
That's cool.
That
I
makes
think-
sense.
The first time I heard this, my immediate reaction, my knee-jerk reaction was, boy, that's stupid. And then
So the next question is, if they're
don't cut me off
doing
there. Don't cut me
this-
off there, because I just made myself sound off.
You
My
are kind of a dick.
second
Yelling at Girl
reaction.
Scouts.
My second reaction was, gee, I wish my daughter had that. It'd be nice if she knew to store her passwords in the password manager.
So I think that's the natural evolution of those organizations, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, to start to have these cyber badges. My big question is, when are they going to start having badges to learn coding, to learn to
They
program?
already do.
Do they?
Yeah,
That doesn't.
both groups already.
I'm joining the Boy Scouts again. I don't care what that judge said. I'm going to go back to the Boy Scouts.
My question is, when are we going to start seeing virtual scouts?
With 360 cameras, you put a 360 camera.
No,
in
no
the-
cameras.
and everybody
Step one.
Everybody camps from home. So you got the 360 camera in the woods. Everybody's at their house. They're all
Telling
interacting
ghost
together,
stories.
scrolling around. Exactly. That's perfect. And they're trading bitcoins.
You'll never guess
God.
what city this is in that they're doing
This is a
cyber.
good show. Let's wrap it up. What?
Palo Alto.
And why would that surprise you?
Yeah. No, I think virtual scouts would be great, where it's something similar to Larry.
that would be terrible.
All right.
That would be
I've-
terrible.
So
Stop it.
on two of the other stories, I actually have some interesting things to say about both of them,
John,
and it has
we're-
nothing to do with what's on the card.
We
All right,
got
bring
a
'em up.
problem here. What world are we living in that John wants to keep
Wait,
going? Like we're
Can I
an
mute
hour in.
Eric? Oh shoot, I can't
We're
mute Eric from Zencaster.
Damn it! All right, go.
All right, John.
What
Yeah, grab
happened?
one, John.
No, Eric wants to end the show.
No, Eric's muted.
So I, I have no clue what the actual topic is about on the card, but I did have an.
It's pretty
I will
self-explanatory.
I didn't read it. I just know it's about Let's Encrypt.
100 million
went to-
certificates issued.
I went
the
to
headline.
renew a certificate. This week, and was having issues. So if you're having issues renewing, update your CA certificates. Good to go. That's all I wanted to say about that. I don't know why I had to do that, but I did. I'm trying to help people.
It's OCD is what it's called.
Eric put the card. Eric, you're the one who put the card here.
I never said I didn't. I didn't want to talk. I wanted to blow over it. I didn't say I
Alright.
didn't put the card there. Yeah.
So I saw a report from Shiner on security that was talking about forms submitting data before the user pressed the submit button.
That's not that uncommon.
I know, that's the thing, is that this is being presented as news, but to me, I had actually seen this in action several times before. I've filled out a form halfway and then decided I didn't want to fill it out the rest of the way and left the site, closed the tab, and then gotten an email saying, hey, you didn't finish filling out the form. What's up? You don't want to join our service? And I was thoroughly weirded out.
I did
Well,
that
why
at
would
a
you be
previous
weirded
post on the checkout form as they're filling it out, checking out, capturing everything. Was that a bad thing?
You're the reason why the internet's a bad place, John.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying the idea of as you're filling out a form, information's being submitted. I'm not sure why that's shocking. It happens all the time. I go to Google Maps and I start to type in an address, and it starts auto completing addresses. Trying to figure out what I'm typing in. Yeah, that's always happening. So the fact that it's capturing the form as you're filling it out.
Capturing for the purpose of marketing is different for me.
Welcome to the internet, buddy.
That's the thing, is that this article does go into why this is a problem. And I think the issue at hand is that the way people behave when they're filling out a form to sign up for something is not as if someone is looking over their shoulder and gathering the data, whether or not they ended up handing the data into the person at the desk. People treat the internet the same way they treat very tactile things in real life. So when you're filling out a form, people feel like it is a paper form. They don't feel like it is a dynamic form with the capability of doing anything it wants to with your data.
I mean,
it is invasive to submit data by the user that wasn't intended to be submitted.
I think that the big thing that an end user has to look for is where are they agreeing to the terms and conditions, because once you agree to that, it's free game, right? I mean, they can start. You've agreed to the terms and conditions, so they can start capturing your information. If you're filling out the form and at the bottom of that form it says check here to agree to the terms and conditions, and you don't complete the form and this happens, and you suspect that they've captured your data, then you might have some potential legal ground to stand on, but
you don't, because that legal ground was already tread over single opt emails. So there are rules when you capture someone's email address about contacting them, and there's a single opt and a double opt email. And basically, once they've captured your email for the first time, whether or not you've agreed to terms of service, they're allowed to email you one time.
Okay.
They can ask you to join in, but that's just the email. That's a legal ground that's already tread over the email. But if you're typing in additional information, I mean, imagine if Facebook introduced a feature that said,
we're not
check
going
out the comments.
Imagine anything.
Well, we need to imagine, though.
But I'm saying we need to understand what the precedence is. What's being done right now that we feel there's an argument against. I mean, the fact, what I'm hearing so far, nothing is surprising me. So are we saying that I mean, even the single email thing, okay, you're allowed to, the moment you get somebody's email, you have legal right to send them an email. Okay, well that's.
But I'm saying going beyond that, someone at Facebook can look up what is it that people are most afraid to say after they type it but don't submit it in a comment to somebody. What are people's greatest fears?
Again, you're fear mongering now, right? You're just throwing out these
doom and glooming. I'm doom and glooming. That's trademarked for a reason.
You've moved beyond doom and gloom, right? You're fudding, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt now. It's not this doom and gloom anymore. So it's the fudding aspect I really have a problem with. It's because we need to address the real problems and not this could happen. That's not happening. It's what is happening now. Is it legal? Is it moral? And should we be doing something to address it?
That's the great debate about the internet, is all of these things that are happening on the internet are operating in an undefined legal space. So all we have to operate on are our moral intuitions.
Right. And that's another question. Whose legal space, when it does fall under some sort of legality, whose legal space is it falling under? We as the U.S. have always felt like we have authority over the internet, but we don't.
We made it. We invented it, and it's ours.
Doesn't matter. We should have kept it to ourselves. We should have built walls around it.
Damn you, Al Gore.
All right, come on. We're running. You did a terrible job editing the last show, which went an hour and 20 minutes. And where are we at today? Look at us.
We're not even near. Hour and 5 minutes. This is the last article.
All right. I honestly thought we were much later.
Speaking of fear mongering,
It feels like this has been going on forever.
What? You're very drunk.
Look, I had wine and I had scotch, and I'm out of both. Look at that. There's a little.
See, I'm high. This feels like we're on our 4th day.
Holy crap! Did you see that?
There's a cat. There's a cat climbing your curtain.
There's a cat climbing your background.
They're climbing the walls to get to end the show. We must finish.
So the article here from DSL Reports states that AT&T says it may soon charge you extra for privacy.
See, if you want to be private,
having read the articles and the references that they're stating, it basically points back to something that AT&T did a while ago, where they started charging between $531 and $800 more each year if customers wanted to opt out of AT&T's Internet Preferences program. AT&T used this to launch an ad-supported internet service so that you could get free internet in response for viewing ads that were injected onto your web pages. People got really, really upset about it. AT&T rolled it back, but now, whoa, pardon me. But now that net neutrality is getting demolished, people are going back to AT&T and saying, "Hey, what are you guys going to do now?" And it doesn't appear that AT&T is hiding their intentions even in the slightest bit. I mean, it's real dark over there.
Hey,
so
we won't collect your data if you pay us more.
Basically, and we know that it's morally wrong, and we're still thinking about doing it because we won the net neutrality battle. They're quoting, this article quotes Quinn. Let's see who it really is. Okay, AT&T Senior Vice President Bob Quinn was quoted as saying, "As the privacy revolution evolves, I think people are going to want more control. And maybe that's the pricing model that's ultimately what consumers want." So he's basically saying, as people become aware of how their privacy is invaded, we can sell them their privacy back to them. And that people will want to be able to buy their privacy back. Which is a super dark statement for the senior vice president of the #1 telecommunications system in the world. That's, to me, that's a crazy direct quote for someone at that level to say, because it's basically saying we are going to monetize privacy. So the quote again, "As the privacy revolution evolves, I think people are going to want more control, and maybe that's the pricing model that's ultimately what consumers want." That is a terrifying statement for someone in that position to make, that privacy is going to be monetized and that people will embrace that. And the only way that people will embrace that is if privacy gets taken away. Is if we are made aware of the privacy violations. This is like a mob style shakedown. It'd be terrible if something were to happen to your privacy. You wouldn't want that. Look at the LifeLock guy. His life was ruined. We could save you from that kind of torture. It really, this is doom and gloom. That's a dark statement for someone at that level to make. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Anything to make
money.
Not
all at once. It is anything to make money. It is capitalism at its most pure.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by it. And especially, Yeah, that's exactly right. They're going to take the privacy away and sell it back to you piece by piece. Of course, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I say
And then
screw
they'll take it away again.
AT&T, when I worked at bowlingball.com, they sent a cease and desist letter telling bowlingball.com they couldn't use the logo because it too closely resembled the AT&T logo. And to me, they're completely different. They happen to be blue lines that make a sphere, but it's not the same. Anyway, AT&T lost.
And this is all coming with a huge merger that AT&T is trying to get through, that it looks like they're going to get through. And it seems like if cable internet, if broadband weren't a monopoly, this would be unacceptable. This wouldn't pass muster. But the fact that broadband internet is a monopoly in America, I mean, I'm getting screwed right now. I just hit a 1 terabyte limit on my Comcast connection. And they're saying, well, yeah, we're going to charge you $10 for every 50 gigs over your limit now. I've got 3 kids that are streaming YouTube nonstop. So it's going to be $50 a day. It's going to be a nightmare. I have to switch to Comcast Business to remove the terabyte cap on my connection per month, which is double the price for half the speed.
Yep. Yeah.
And I have no alternatives in my area. So screw me.
Or put something in that limits your kids' bandwidth so that they get served 240 instead of.
Yeah, so don't get what I pay for. Don't get what I pay for, basically. And Cox is just that they're going to introduce this limit as well.
I haven't been getting what I paid for. I found that out today. So I call my Cox people up and I'm like, hey, yeah, this wire is laying here. We talked about that earlier in the show. I don't know if you remember that far back because it's been a while.
It was a long time. A long time ago.
I'm like, hey, this wire's laying here. Can you guys come out and take a look at it? And he's like, yeah, we'll come out and take a look. Hey, by the way, I'm looking at your account. Do you realize your internet speed, we doubled it, but your modem doesn't support the new speed, so you're only getting half of what you're paying for.
DOCSIS 3?
Did not know that. What
I got that same notification from Comcast.
Yeah.
They said you don't have a DOCSIS 3 modem. You need to get a DOCSIS 3 modem. And I got the information through an invasive injected ad in my web browser. And they're wrong. Because I bought my modem instead of renting it. So they're calling it not DOCSIS 3 because they don't know what it is.
I talked to a human being, first off. And second thing, I'm like, well, what do I need to do? He goes, well, we have modems, but it's probably cheaper if you go buy one. You just want to make sure you have a 30x8. He's like, just make sure it supports 30x8 or some number like that, and you'll be fine.
I talk to people. I'm so
you got to do that
socially good.
Yeah, I bought these flowers. I bought flowers once. There was a bee in it, stung me in the ass, swelled up like a tomato.
What are you doing with your flowers? The bee stung you in the ass.
He's trying to come up with
something.
We got it.
You got a real issue with doom and gloom there, Thomas. You need to see somebody about that.
So you're gonna buy a modem, basically.
I bought a modem.
Wait.
Amazon next day, baby. It's
So you were renting before that? So you're
no. I own my modem. I haven't rented a modem in forever.
Oh, yours is just old.
Yeah, it was just old. It was a few years old. So I just went to Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. I'm excited. All right, gentlemen. That was a very long show. That felt like it was a very long show. I'm not sure. That's what we should start doing.
I'm spent.
Our shows need to start running whatever the episode number is. So you've got to edit this one down to 67 minutes.
No, because
And then-
it's too long already. And it's just gonna keep getting longer. That's ridiculous. It should be inversely proportional. So in about a year, we'll have a 5-minute show.
That would be awesome.
I'll start researching compression algorithms so that I can verbally compress our information.
I hear Pied Piper has some pretty good compression.
Middle out, it's the best.
That's it. That's how you do it.
Weird ending to the season, though.
Weird ending to the show is how I feel about this. But this is how we're going to wrap it up. We're gonna have some music. This is what I'm talking about. The music should be playing in the background right now. As like a minute or two back, the music should have been playing so the fans are like, thank God the show's over. No,
it has been.
Hasn't.
No, it should be slowly ramping up. It should be like 0. Right now, it should be at like 50% volume.
It is.
Yeah. You can barely hear us talking. All right, gentlemen, as always, great show. Episode 67 in the can. I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm Tom
I'm John
Rideout.
Congdon.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it
ugly.
It's horrible.
This is why nobody pays us to do this. You know that, right?
Take it off, Eric.
Did you get the picture I
Oh,
sent
you
you
can
guys?
get that looked at.